could you, in your terms, kind of explain what the NFL is thinking with passing this rule?
Well, obviously they took a look at analytics. They took a look at the data that showed that there were more concussions this year than the past, and so they decided to take the big step, which they have been talking about, Kirk. I'm telling you, since 2005. I mean, I used to sit in my office in New York in the command center, and they would come back to me and say, as we're looking at these defenseless players and leading with the crown of the helmet, let's just make it illegal, period, because the rule book currently, back in the early 2000s, supports it, because there is a rule on the books right now in Rule 12 that says, a player is prohibited from what's called using any part of a player's helmet or face mask to butt, spear, or ram an opponent violently or unnecessarily. So the powers to be who were scrambling then fairly early on in the concussion front, we're saying let's make all helmet contact, leading with the helmet contact, a foul. And I would fight it and say it's impossible. It's impossible to take the head out of the game to that degree. And then I think in Dean Blandino's day after me, with this rule being in there that wasn't being enforced, he said, let's take it out of the book.
Right.
And they said, no, it's a player safety issue. And now they have come full circle and said, we're going to enforce it with new language that says you can't initiate contact with your helmet anywhere at any time. And it's initiate and make contact. And as I've sat back now and kind of digested it and talked to Al Riveron for a while, I think what we're going through now is a bit of an overreaction. I think back to 4 years ago when they put in the crown of the helmet rule with the runner and the person, the defender that's trying to tackle the runner. Everybody was saying we were going to have so many fouls. And in fact, I think there's been 6 called in 4 years. So I do think it's a bit of overreaction, but it is a significant change in the interpretation. I think it will lead to more fines than it will actually fouls, although there will certainly be, I think, an uptick on the crown of the helmet hits. But I think, Kirk, to say that it's going to happen, on every time there's blocking in interior line play and that type of thing is nonsensical. Common sense will seek its level, and I think it will be okay. But, they're making a huge point of emphasis on this, and it is somewhat going to change things.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.